first of this series of videos that I'm going to post will be short interviews interspersed with clips from everyday average people who recently spoke at a council meeting, at the St Tammany Parish Council meeting on June 5th. These are not politicians, these are not spokespeople, these are not people, frankly, that probably even want to be in front of a microphone, but were moved enough by something in this discussion to feel like their voices needed to be heard and their opinions needed to be considered by the council as well as by the public. And I think you'll enjoy just getting kind of a glimpse into one of your neighbors, and some of you may know, but maybe you'll know a little bit better after you see some of what we saw at the council meeting on June 5th. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.
I'm Michael Finn. I'm a practicing physician in St Tammany Parish since 1976. I'm actually a cardiologist, and I've lived in the parish since 1976.
So what brought you into this? What was it? I mean, there's so many issues that come through the parish. What is it about this issue that was enough to bring both of you to the forefront on this?
I think the biggest issue, you want me to look in the camera?
No, go ahead and look at me.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue for me is that, you know, St. Tammany Parish is a great place to raise families. It's a great place to, you know, to live. The quality of life has been wonderful. And all of a sudden you're introducing heavy industry that has side effects and will potentially harm people as well as the environment. And it's benefiting very few people. There's plenty of other areas in the country, if they want to extract, you know, gas and oil, they can do it elsewhere. But why ruin this area that is so well established for families and children for the benefit of a few people for money? And this is all about money, make no mistake about it. And it's just I look at issues, I tend to look at it from a sort of perspective as a physician. How is what we're going to do to the environment, or what we're going to do to our bodies going to affect us in the long run? And everything that we do to our bodies certainly affects our longevity and quality of life. And it's no different than with the environment. Everything that you do to the environment, there's a price to pay. And I just feel very strongly the price to pay, you know, developing some land for landowners who are trying to get money, and for oil companies who are going to put heavy industry in our residential area, I think is absurd. And it's got to stop. It needs to stop. There's a lot of great communities all throughout this country that have said no to fracking, and there's I see no reason that the same thing can't be applied.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm Michael Finn. I'm a physician. I've been practicing in St. Tammany since 1976. I just want to bring up a little anecdote. When I moved into Slidell, there was a creosote factory across the bayou where we built our house. We lived there. We raised our children there. My son and two other children in that neighborhood came down. We smelled, by the way, creosote fumes every morning. My son and two other kids in the neighborhood came down with Hodgkin's disease, just in the Slidell from the creosote factory. As a physician, I deal with complications. 25–30% of my practice deals with complications. A lot of it's from medicine. And gentlemen, you need to understand that everything that we do, whether it's to our bodies or to the environment, has complications. It's not a question as if it's going to happen. I can promise you that if you do fracking in St. Tammany, you will have environmental problems. They may not show up with your children, but they may show up with your grandchildren. I strongly, you know, I really feel your obligation is to the people of this parish and not to a few moneyed interests who are going to garner some economic benefit from developing oil development in this community. I think it's a grave mistake, and there's absolutely no, there's just no reason to do it. Thank you.
step up. I mean, a 40-year career is a pretty, substantial career here in the area. Has there ever been an issue that has brought you to a podium at a council meeting before?
No, not like this. Not like this. I mean, we need to show the politicians as well as the moneyed interests that, we have our rights too.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I've never spoken up about an issue like this before.
What about you?
We don't have room to be pushed around that much further. We have a limited amount, a finite amount of energy to deal with. We have a finite amount of resources. And this aquifer nourishes almost 1 million people. And the fact that the first time I've ever spoken in front of the parish council, and I got up there terrified, but doing it because I was so shocked that this was moving through without being put to any kind of a public vote or bringing in the opinions of the people who it's really going to affect. So, once we started researching it, I knew very little about fracking. Anything that I've heard has been really emotional and sensationalized on one side or the other. It's great, it's safe, it's dangerous, it's horrible. And so then I started researching it for myself and learned a whole lot within a couple of weeks' time, and I've been going down that slope ever since. The Center for Economic Development has projected that St Tammany Parish by 2030 will increase its population by up to 90%, which means that we would go from 233,000 to getting close to 500,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense economically to develop portions of land for industry when our growth and the way that the parish has flourished, we have some of the highest home values in Louisiana. We have a higher home ownership rate than the national average by 11%. It's a place where people come, buy homes, settle down, have great schools, have great communities, and have a very well-balanced residential community. And with that, it makes no sense. We're set up to flourish economically in the long term by developing land for residential use. Then when you factor in the traffic, the industrial traffic, the trucks, and what's left behind with all of that, we're not making progress. It's not worthy. As well as what I understand, the quality of the product that may be extracted from this region is such poor quality that it's all going to be sent overseas anyway. We're not doing anything to solve our domestic energy needs. This is not affecting us for the good in any way, shape, or form.
Environmentally impacted. I mean, I would be willing to bet you anything that if they do fracking in St. Tammany Parish or wherever they're doing it, especially if it's involving this aquifer, that there's going to be a price to pay for that with people's health down the road. I don't care what the oil industry says. They're going to, the only thing, just remember, the only thing they're interested in is not the people of St. Tammany. They're interested in dollars, and the politicians, some of whom supposedly represent us, are interested in the same damn thing.